Couples will spend like 18 months and thousands of dollars agonizing over the exact sheet of ivory for their dinner napkins.
Oh, absolutely. The level of detail is just wild.
Right. I mean, they will curate the perfect playlist. They'll orchestrate this flawless sunset ceremony and build a reception timeline down to the literal minute.
Yeah, every single second is accounted for.
But then, almost universally, they completely ignore what happens when 100 exhausted, slightly hungover guests wake up the next morning.
Stranded in a hotel lobby.
Exactly. Stranded, trying to figure out how to get home. So today, we are looking at what is basically the ultimate blind spot of event planning.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a fascinating phenomenon. You see people transition from being these master architects of a spectacular evening event to suddenly, running a very chaotic, entirely unmanaged travel agency by 9 a.m. the next day.
A travel agency. That is exactly what it is.
The drop-off in planning is just staggering.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We're extracting the ultimate blueprint for extending the magic of a massive weekend event, specifically weddings, though this really applies to almost any large gathering.
Truly, any multi-day event.
Right, and we're looking at how to do this without extending the stress. So we are pulling from this really comprehensive guide on coordinating post-wedding brunch or farewell logistics.
It's a great source. Really gets into the weeds.
It does. And our mission today is to figure out how to turn what is usually a wildly chaotic morning into a seamless, warm transition into married life. Because people obsess over the entrance, but they completely neglect the exit strategy.
And that exit strategy is arguably the most critical piece of the whole puzzle.
Really? The most critical?
I'd say so, yeah, because it is the lingering impression your guests will actually take home with them. It is the final emotional note of the entire weekend.
Okay, so to understand how to execute that final note, we first have to understand the psychology of the night before. Because I just know there's someone listening who's thinking, I just paid for a massive dinner, an open bar, and a 10-piece band.
I am tapped out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why on earth am I being told to plan and pay for another event 12 hours later?
Yeah, and that is a completely rational pushback. I mean, the financial and emotional fatigue is very real at that point.
Oh, totally.
But to answer that, we really have to look at the operational reality of a modern wedding reception. They're engineered for high energy, not deep connection.
That makes so much sense. I always compare the reception to being the star of a blockbuster movie premiere.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, you're dressed to the nines, the lighting is perfect, you are surrounded by literally everyone you have ever loved in your entire life.
But you can't really talk to them.
Right. Because you are the center of attention, you barely get to speak to any of them for more than, 30 seconds?
If you're lucky.
Exactly. You are just waving from the red carpet. You're moving from table to table, taking hundreds of photos, cutting cakes, doing these scheduled dances. It is an absolute blur of kinetic energy.
You are just on the entire night. And what's fascinating here is the psychological value of creating a secondary environment the next morning.
Tell me more about that.
Well, a farewell brunch provides the one crucial element that a massive reception fundamentally lacks, and that is unstructured time.
Unstructured time. Okay.
Yeah, it creates a dedicated, quiet space to actually sit down, lower your heart rate, and just digest the events of the night before with your people.
So it's basically the relaxed director's commentary track the morning after the premiere.
Exactly that. It is the difference between shouting a cook, "Thank you so much for coming," over a DJ playing at 110 decibels.
Which is impossible.
Right. Versus actually pulling up a chair with an aunt who flew in from 3 states away, pouring her a cup of coffee, and having a meaningful 10-minute conversation.
But, securing that unstructured time really requires creating the right physical environment, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Because if you force people into the wrong space, you destroy that relaxed vibe instantly. When you look at the source material, a clear pattern emerges regarding how to adapt the morning after to the reality of the guests.
Yeah, you essentially have to match the physical format to the logistics of your specific crowd.
And that dictates the entire flow of the morning, right?
It does. I mean, if 90% of your guest list is staying in one massive hotel, the mechanics of your morning look very different than if you've hosted, say, a destination event.
Where people are just scattered everywhere.
Exactly, across rental homes and beachfront properties and all that.
So let's explore the mechanics of those environments. The text mentions 4 main formats. The most frictionless path is usually utilizing the restaurant or conference space at the main hotel where the room block is.
Which makes sense.
Right, because the operational benefit there is massive. There is zero transportation required. Guests literally just press the lobby button on the elevator.
They can show up in their slippers if they want.
Basically, yeah.
Mm.
But if you're in a beautiful destination, trapping people in a windowless hotel conference room feels like a massive missed opportunity.
It really does.
Which is where the second option, these outdoor farewell setups like a terrace or a garden, come into play.
Though with outdoor setups, you immediately introduce weather variables, right?
The weather. Always a nightmare.
Yeah, which requires a much tighter contingency plan. And then for smaller, more intimate groups, the source talks about a private dining room at a local restaurant.
Which gives you a lot of control.
Exactly. It offers incredible structure, and you aren't competing with other random hotel guests for the buffet line.
Okay, I want to pause on the format options here because I had to push back on the fourth one. This increasingly popular model we're seeing, the grab-and-go farewell.
Ah, the grab-and-go.
Yeah, let's unpack this. This is where you essentially set up a station with coffee and boxed pastries for people on their way out.
That's the one.
Doesn't handing someone a cardboard box on their way to a rental car feel like a massive letdown? Like it feels incredibly anticlimactic after a black-tie, highly emotional weekend.
I completely understand why it feels insulting at first glance.
Insulting, yeah.
It definitely lacks the romance and the aesthetic of a sit-down, mimosa-fueled brunch. But we really have to look at the psychology of a traveler here.
Okay, how so?
Well, if a guest has a 6 a.m. flight or they're staring down a 10-hour drive on a Sunday, forcing them to sit through a 90-minute structured brunch is actually creating immense anxiety for them.
Oh, because they're just watching the clock.
Exactly. They are sitting there calculating traffic in their head. They are not enjoying the eggs.
Wow, okay, that makes total sense. You're basically holding them hostage with hospitality.
Precisely. In the context of a heavy travel day, handing someone a really high-quality hot coffee and a fresh, easily transportable meal is actually a profound act of hospitality.
Because it acknowledges their reality.
Yes. It shows that the couple actually respects the guest's time and their logistical constraints. It communicates, we see you, we know you have a grueling journey ahead, and we want to remove friction from your morning.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about tailoring the experience to the reality of the guest rather than forcing the guest into some fantasy timeline.
That is a brilliant reframe. Hospitality tailored to reality.
And that concept of reality hinges entirely on one unforgiving metric, according to the guide: the clock.
Oh boy, the clock.
When you analyze the data on event fatigue from the text, there is a massive warning light flashing when it comes to timing. Do not, under any circumstances, schedule this early in the morning.
It is a guaranteed recipe for empty tables, wasted money, and genuinely grumpy people.
Seriously grumpy.
Yeah, I mean, you are fighting against sleep cycles, exhaustion, and the circadian rhythms of people who likely stayed up until 2 a.m. drinking.
The golden operational window seems to be a start time around 10:30 or 11 a.m.
That's the sweet spot.
And here's the brilliant but somewhat counterintuitive part from the guide. You have to keep the event incredibly tight. 90 minutes to 2 hours maximum.
Which surprises a lot of people.
Yeah, I would have thought a longer brunch gives more people a chance to drop in, you know. But keeping it short is actually strategic, isn't it?
It is entirely strategic. A 10:30 a.m. start allows guests to actually sleep off the reception, slowly pack their bags, and prepare for hotel checkout without feeling rushed at all.
Okay, but why cap it at 2 hours?
Because capping the event does two things. First, it forces condensation.
Meaning everyone is there at the same time.
Right. If people know it's a tight window, they will actually show up to connect, rather than trickling in over 4 hours and completely missing each other.
Oh, that's smart.
And second, it creates a comfortable boundary. Nobody feels trapped all afternoon. They can eat, have a meaningful conversation, and hit the road.
But see, a 10:30 a.m. start time implies that your guests are actually still on the premises at 10:30 a.m.
Which they might not be.
Right, which introduces the most complex piece of the entire morning.
Yeah.
It is a logistical nightmare that I like to call the departure puzzle.
It really is a puzzle, because guests rarely, if ever, leave at the exact same time.
Never.
You're dealing with dozens of distinct itineraries.
Trying to manage luggage, hotel checkouts, and airport runs for 100 tired people is like playing a high-stakes game of Tetris.
A very stressful game of Tetris.
Yeah, and if you don't line the blocks up perfectly beforehand, the board just fills up and the entire morning collapses into chaos.
And the most disruptive block in that game of Tetris is absolutely the luggage.
Oh, the bags.
Just think about the physical footprint of 50 hard-shell roller bags.
Right. Because if checkout is at 11 a.m.,